more of a big play offense. And when you have a senior quarterback like Johnny DeBlasio, whose experience, Jeremy Scally told us earlier in the week, has allowed them to add things to their offense. And you talked about it earlier. Usually you think of Hilliard Davidson, you think, well, they're going to run the football 75 times, and this game's going to be over in about 9 minutes.
And you know offensive coordinator Mark Solis loves that. He wants to spread it out a little more and still run the football from some different formations and whatnot. Although that last one, that was a classic Davidson formation.
Flags are down as DeBlasio rolls to throw. The pass is caught by Dane Schmidt, who was off balance as he scooped that one in and tumbles to the field turf. But again, this is a procedure call against the offense. That'll push him back 5.
Illegal formation. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
One of the things that Jeremy Scally talked about when I asked him about where Johnny DeBlasio has improved, he talked about the fact now that he's a senior, he speaks up more. He's not afraid to voice his opinion. And he said, Coach Scally said, a lot of times I'm not the most approachable guy in the world, neither is Coach Solis, but Johnny DeBlasio has no problem at all walking into the coach's offices and saying, hey, I don't like this. Hey, let's try that. And you got to love that out of a senior quarterback.
Absolutely, and you've heard a lot of that coming out of Ohio State this year with Will Howard, and he'll talk to Coach Kelly and Coach Day and say, hey, I really like this play. I don't like this one as much. When you've got a guy that's been here in the offense for 3 years, you give him the ability to speak up and do that.
Second down and 13, and DeBlasio flushed out of the pocket now with the football on his right side. Will just scamper towards the near side and slide out of bounds across the 20 to the 22-yard line. I figured we wouldn't get any Ohio State mentions with Logan not here tonight, but well, we get him anyway.
Well, I hear this audio in these press conferences so much that it's just kind of ingrained in my mind. But when you have a quarterback with the ability to do what we see Johnny DeBlasio doing right there, when there's nothing there, where the play is dead and he can make something out of his legs, you'll also let him speak up a little more because he can bail you out of situations.
Had his first rushing touchdown of the season in quarter number 1. There you see his numbers coming into the game. 3rd down and 5 now for the Davidson offense. We're 3 minutes into what has become suddenly a very long second quarter. Back to throw DeBlasio. Gibbon is ahead of him. DeBlasio now will roll out and keep the football and is shoved out of bounds. It will be close to the marker. Had to get to and he got enough. He had to get to the 27 and got just enough for the first down to keep the Davidson offense on the field.
Marty, we need to go talk to the Davidson historians as we see DeBlasio here again with nothing there, making something with his legs. When's the last time a Davidson quarterback didn't have a rushing touchdown until week 7?
What's that stat bureau that ESPN uses? Elias Sports. They'd be the ones you'd have to find, I guess, for something like that, wouldn't you? It's down to 10. The handoff goes to Gibbon as that first down play sponsored by Buckeye State Bank, and Gibbon turns across the 30-yard line. Davidson opened the season losing to Pine Richland out of Pennsylvania by the final of 35-24, then ripped off 4 consecutive wins. Knocked off Canal Winchester, Dublin Jerome, beat their district rivals from Darby, and then rolled past Marysville before that touchdown loss to Olentangy Orange last week. Bradley, meanwhile, opened up with a loss to a Groveport team that's 4-2. Lost that one 28-7, bounced back, beat Darby, then lost to Grove City. We saw the Greyhounds last week, and here is Dane Schmidt running right into Terrace Dudley, and the two tumble to the turf at the 40-yard line. Then they beat Marysville 21-3, but have suffered back-to-back losses to New Albany and Upper Arlington coming into this one tonight.
You see Dane Schmidt there on that run, Marty. We talked about it earlier. Coach Scally said he'll put his face mask right through your chest. That's what he did to Terrace Dudley right there. That was a big-time collision. Neither player was going to give an inch on that one.
Out to the 39, the first down sponsored by Classic Exteriors. They'll put Josh DeBlasio in motion, and he'll take the football and he'll heave it downfield looking for Wyndham, and the pass is incomplete. Josh DeBlasio, the 6'2 junior, showed off pretty good arm right there.
You'd expect that from a baseball player, though. Both of these DeBlasio brothers are, and that was actually Josh. That was the brother there on the handoff and the throw. Just a little too much on the throw. Those kids, both good baseball players as well. You can see the arm strength of both of them. That's why they've battled the past couple years for this quarterback position, and why Josh will probably take over for his older brother next year.
Johnny DeBlasio getting a lot of interest. Number of Division II schools, Ohio Dominican among them, which have expressed interest in his services once his senior season is over. The incompletion brings up a second down at 10, and the second down play is the quarterback, de Blasio, keeping the ball. Coming into the game with 808 yards throwing. And I really liked what Jeremy Scally said about when you have a guy like that as they face a third down in Johnny de Blasio, who you can expand your offense and you can do different things because you know this guy's a senior and he's done it all for you to this point.
He is definitely a quarterback that can run. He's not just a running quarterback. He's a guy that can sit back there in the pocket, read the defenses, make the right play. But as we've seen on this drive, when things break down, he can take off. He can get you a first down.
Third down and 6. Out of the shotgun formation, and here's de Blasio to roll, and will deliver ahead, and the pass, is that a catch to the near side? Right near the sideline, and it is. It's a catch and a first down for Bradley. In Bradley territory, rather, for Davidson.
And that's what we just talked about, Marty. He used his legs there to keep the play alive. I'm not sure that Rimlinger was able to stay in there, keep his feet in, but a great effort by Rimlinger regardless. They're going to get the play, and they're going to get the first down.
Well, I tell you, that camera shot right there, it looked like his left foot was out of bounds. And great work by our camera crew right there, but it will stand at the 6:57 mark of quarter number 2, and another first down sponsored by Classic Exteriors. Handoff goes Gibbon, middle of the field, and is drugged to the turf as he tried to find a little running room right in the middle of the field. Caleb Lowry, a sophomore, 6'2", 200-pounder. You look at this Bradley team and the amount of underclassmen they have playing right now. We were down the field talking to Mike Laparo prior to the game, the Bradley head coach, and I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say frustration, but I think there's a lot of understanding of just where his program is at right now, Ryan. Knowing they lost a lot of talent off that team last year, and they're slowly building back to where I think they think they can get back to close to where they were last year here within the next season or so.
And listen, when you're up at the peak in the state semifinals and then you're struggling the next year, it's hard. It's tough on everyone because that expectation has been there, but you just don't – these guys don't have the experience. They're still growing. They're a little small physically right now. I think it's tough for everyone right now.
De Blasio, the keeper, gets out across the 40 to the 39. Watch it here. He took a pretty good shot at the end of this play. Watch the senior quarterback turn the corner. Yeah, he went down pretty hard right there. Good low tackle there by Jordan Reed-Davis, who had that interception back earlier in the first period. And that's something that Mike Laparo said as well, too, that his upperclassmen are dealing with right now because, I mean, last year this team was 13-2. And as we mentioned, a game away from playing for a state championship. Handoff Schmidt, trying to find a little running room across the 35, and that's exactly what he found, a little running room, not much.
And Marty, on that last play, you see Jack Whitmore, who's usually a running back on this team. He's in there playing linebacker. Maybe if he's had more reps playing defense, he's going to be able to read that play a little better and not follow the running back. It's a great play by de Blasio with the fake there, the option. But if Whitmore's had more reps, more game reps in that linebacker spot, maybe he's able to read that a little better and get the stop.
That was a first down gain. This first down sponsored by Classic Exteriors for the Davidson offense. Scored the first 2 times they had the football, then an interception stymied a potential drive. De Blasio rolling to throw, leaping grab at the 27-yard line by Josh de Blasio. And it will be a couple of yards shy of the first down.
Another good job by Johnny de Blasio of using his feet. He does a good job rolling to his right and throwing the ball on the run, hitting his brother there. He's got some big targets. Josh, 6'2", 190 pounds. We talked about Caden Wyndham at 6'3". That helps make your job as a quarterback a little easier.
Rolling towards 4 minutes to go, quarter number 2. Hilliard Davidson with the football. One of the 3 schools in this district. Davidson, Bradley, and Hilliard Darby. And back to throw de Blasio down the far sideline and has a receiver in the end zone. That's Wyndham, touchdown, Hilliard Davidson. Or are they going to say he dropped the football? It is a touchdown. The defensive back was trying to coax everybody into saying he dropped the football, but it is a touchdown, a Ramos Roofing touchdown. Get your free estimate on a roof by calling or texting 614-761-ROOF. Watch here as de Blasio and Wyndham connect on the score.
De Blasio actually could have thrown that ball out in front of Wyndham a little more, and it would have been a little easier as Jordan Reed-Davis had some time to catch up to him, though. But just a nice pitch and catch, and like we said, when you've got a 6'3" receiver, you just put it up there and let him go get it.
20-0 now the lead for Davidson. Avery Browning on to try the extra point out of the hold of Johnny De Blasio. Snap, good. Hold, good. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Exactly 4 minutes to go, second quarter. It's all Hilliard Davidson on homecoming. They lead Bradley 21-0. This is Toyota Friday Night Rivals. Coming up at halftime, they are back. Yes, your favorite furry mascot friends, and they will compete in the one and only Mascot Challenge. It is sponsored by Safe Light Auto Glass. Hilliard Davidson has expanded its lead to 21-0 as Johnny De Blasio caps off a 14-play, 80-yard scoring drive with a 25-yard scoring pass to Caden Wyndham. It took 7 minutes and 29 seconds. The scoring summary brought to you by Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County. Series between these two. This is the 10th meeting with Bradley leading 5-4. The Jaguars have won 3 of the last 4, although the teams have split the last 6.
Back to receive number 0, Daniel Schaefer, number 17.
And Browning to kick the football away. And going into the end zone as he was fielding the kick was Schaefer, so Bradley will put their offense on the field out at the 25-yard line. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we will go down to Kellyanne Stitz for the Music Go-Round Coach's Corner to hear from, I would think right now, Jeremy Scally, the head coach at Hilliard Davidson, get his thoughts on half number 1, the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Music Go-Round.
Marty, that last drive, it may not have looked exactly like a classic Hilliard Davidson as far as the formations and throwing the ball a little more, but 14 plays, 80 yards, 7.5 minutes off the clock, getting points on the board. That is from the Brian White handbook right there.
Bradley first down and 10, again the ball at the 20. And O'Neal will throw near side, and the pass is caught as Wigging out of a tackle attempt, 30, breaking free down the sideline and on to go. And racing ahead, this is Reed Davis into Davidson territory across the 25, and a touchdown saving tackle at the last moment. Well-designed screen pass right there that Reed Davis just kind of drifted out into the flat and caught and turned it upfield. And the Bradley Jaguars are inside the 30-yard line on a nice pitch and catch here. Watch this.
Some of the explosiveness that you get with Jordan Reed Davis. Good job of getting through 2 tacklers there. Paul Kanapke with the touchdown saving speed to get him from behind. Reed Davis just 5 catches on the year for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns, but 31 yards a catch. He is an explosive player, and that's why he's playing more and more offense.
And he's done nothing to hurt that average. 55 yards on that pass completion to the flat, and then they gain far side. And Fab with the catch, and then gets to the 20-yard line. We were talking about Johnny De Blasio a moment ago, the senior quarterback. I think there's a lot to like about that sophomore wearing number 1 for Hilliard Bradley at quarterback, the 6', 165-pounder Declan O'Neal.
And I think you've seen it on the last 2 throws. He throws a nice, easy, catchable ball, a great spiral, and he puts it usually in the right spot for the receiver to catch, where they can catch it in stride and keep their momentum going.
And you look at him, 6 foot, 165 pounds. He looks bigger in the pocket, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. And he'll go back to throw. This pass might have been deflected, and it was, and intercepted. And Davidson comes away with the football. That pass was deflected and then caught on the tip by Marcus Allen, the middle linebacker. And the turnover gives the football back to Hilliard Davidson. Watch it here. You get a good look right here. Watch O'Neal go to throw. And that was Buckley coming in who got a hand on that football. And then Marcus Allen on the tip.
He looks bigger in the pocket, but when you've got 6'2", 207 with long arms coming at you, it's kind of hard. A good job by Buckley there. He had his receiver open. And this is just one of the things that this Bradley team is dealing with, Marty, is just key mistakes at key times. Last week, Coach Laparo said he thought their offense played well, even though they lost 42-0. He said they were on schedule. They were ahead, but they just couldn't convert on third down. They just couldn't get those key moments.
De Blasio will throw long downfield for Wyndham, who makes the catch and then tumbles down. And the ball was caught by Wyndham. Now the Bradley coaching staff and the defensive back are all saying that that ball was taken away by Trey Burke, who was back on coverage.
Well, it was taken away. I just think Wyndham was already down and on the ground.
We'll get a look at it here. This will be another very good camera shot. Watch this. As Wyndham makes the catch, turns, and...
Yeah, I mean, I think he was down and on the ground. I don't know. You've got to complete the catch, I guess, is what they're going to say. But there, if de Blasio, though, throws that ball, it was a little behind Wyndham. If he throws it in stride and hits him running, that's a touchdown.
And a timeout is called by Davidson at the 2:04 mark as Jeremy Scally wants a timeout.
Timeout, Davidson.
Marty, we're going to see this play again. And again, watch the throw by de Blasio. Wyndham just has to turn behind a little bit. He has the ball. They're going down. His knee is down there. The ball comes out at the end there as they roll over. I think
when he was on his back, right, and he had the football.
I think that's the right call. It just is bad optics. It doesn't look great.
When Wyndham came down on his back, he had the football, was down at that point, and Burke came out of the scrum with the football, but it will stay with Davidson at the 2:04 mark. And again, they call a timeout, leading 21-0 right here.
Marty, we've talked about it a couple times being, this is not your dad's or even your older brother's Davidson team. Just over 2 minutes to go. They get the ball back. They're around midfield. They go for the jugular and all of it in one play. That usually doesn't happen with Davidson teams.
We invite you to stick around at the half for the Kitchen Saver halftime show. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment as Davidson's back to the line of scrimmage. And this is de Blasio play fake. 15, 10, 5, and end zone touchdown. Johnny de Blasio having a night as he scampers in for the score from 28 yards out, and the lead goes to 27-0 on the Ramos Roofing touchdown. Get your free estimate on a roof by calling or texting 614-761-ROOF. Johnny de Blasio. There's a flag down in the end zone.
De Blasio here, great job with the option fake. He takes off. Andrew Painter out in front with a key block on Jordan Keeney there to help de Blasio get into the end zone. Jaden Keeney, excuse me. Just a great job by Painter.
Sportsmanlike conduct. Number 4 in the defense. That penalty being enforced on the kickoff.
So the penalty on Terrace Dudley after the touchdown.
Happening in the back of the end zone, it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct.
Watch here as de Blasio comes running right into your living room here. And then there's a little extra shove.
Tough one, but that's that frustration again coming out of this, not just this game here where they're down 27-0 right now, but just the frustration of this season. We know Dudley was a big part of that team last year that made it to the state semifinal game. It's just tough for everyone right now on the far sideline.
So Browning on to try the extra point. Snap good, hold good, and the kick by Browning is up. And it is good, and the lead balloons to 28-0 in favor of Hilliard Davidson. We are 1:58 away from the intermission tonight here at Hilliard Davidson, and that means the Bath Fitter halftime show. Discover how teachers from Hilliard Bradley and Hilliard Davidson high schools are helping students expand their skills and inspire greatness. Plus, we'll have scores for you from around Central Ohio. That's all coming your way next on the Bath Fitter halftime show. And we say hello once again to Kellyanne Stitz.
De Blasio has been having a night, and one of the improvements that Coach Scully has seen him make this year has been in his maturity and preparation, and that began, guys, last December. He said that he immediately went to reviewing critical plays from last season. He's been locked in during meetings, bought into selling the play action. He's been dedicated to 5 a.m. lifts before school. And guys, Coach Scally told me that he hates to admit this, but Johnny has logged more time than anyone in the program watching film on Huddle, and that includes the coaching staff work payoff tonight.
Kellyanne, and thank you. That was one of the things that Ryan and I were mentioning a little bit earlier, what he has brought to the table this season as a senior quarterback. That leadership capability, and you expect that out of a senior. Here's an onside kick, and ball's loose in the field. Davidson says it's theirs. No whistle, no signal yet. And Davidson did get the football.
I'm not sure that kick made it the 10 yards, but a Bradley player went down to field it, and I believe it bounced right off of their chest, right into the Davidson player. I think that is Liam Sweetman that was the guy that recovered that one.
There you see the first touch there across the 35-yard line.
Right off of David Baird here as he goes down to get it. Isn't able to corral it, and Sweetman right there with the recovery.
A good look at Avery Browning. The onside kick, getting that right foot on the top of the football and drilling it down into the turf.
I'm not so sure if Bradley thought that was coming, they would have had Baird there on the front line. That was definitely not the hands team.
There's your scoring summary, capped off by the 28-yard de Blasio touchdown run, brought to you by Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County. And incomplete pass on 1st and 10 will bring up 2nd down and 10 with 1:48 to go here in this first half. 28-0 now the lead for Hilliard Davidson.
And there's the experience of de Blasio, the 3-year starter, even started 2 games as a freshman for this Davidson team. There's nothing there, and usually we see him try to make something with his legs. There was nothing there with his legs, so he just throws it away and makes sure they live to fight another down.
Gibbon, very patient, starts upfield on the 2nd down and 10 carry from the 33 of Bradley. And gets to the 30, a pickup of 3.
That's something we haven't talked about much with Gibbon that I've been very impressed with this game. When you got a guy with his speed and his ability to make people miss, sometimes they rush and they don't give their offensive line a time to set up those blocks. But he's done a very good job waiting for the line to set everything up for him, then finding his hole and going.
He did that on his touchdown run, too, as he kind of went laterally down the line of scrimmage, just waiting for something to open. And here's a quick out to the near side, and Andrew Painter makes the catch at the 25-yard line, pickup of a half dozen.
I like that there. We talked about the block Painter had on de Blasio's touchdown to help spring him for the score. Give him a reward on the very next play. Painter's a guy who's very good running the football and catching the football as well.
5'7", 160-pound senior. Both these teams occupy region number 3 of Division I. 4th down here. And the handoff goes to Schmidt on 4th down and 2, trying to turn it up, has the first down, and gets inside the Basement Solution red zone. Quality solutions at an affordable price, and it is a first down as well, too, for the Davidson offense. The first down sponsored by Classic Exteriors.
That probably should have been stopped. Tolber was there. Dudley was there. Just pure second effort, strength, and power from Dane Schmidt.
Under a minute to go in the half. de Blasio, play fake, Rolls, looks, near side now, and has a receiver into the end zone. Touchdown, Andrew Painter.
What a catch by Painter. What a throw by de Blasio. And man, Hilliard Davidson is just hitting on all cylinders right now.
That touchdown, a Ramos roofing touchdown. Get your free estimate on a roof by calling or texting 614-761-ROOF.
Look at that catch, just going up, all hands from Painter. De Blasio so good rolling out to his right. The offensive line doing a good job keeping his pocket clean, giving him area and time to throw. And Davidson, outside of maybe the interception, has been just about perfect tonight.
And they have played a very good first half, no doubt. 34-0 extra point by Browning is up, and the extra point is good. And that's where we stand at the 37-second mark of the first half. Homecoming here at Davidson, and the home team has not disappointed. They have raced out to a 35-0 lead over their district rivals from Hilliard Bradley. Both have already knocked off Darby this season, so this is kind of the deciding matchup in these games involving the Hilliard schools.
And when you get to a point like this, it's 35-0 late in the first half. Coach Laparo talked about this out at practice on Monday, that they're just trying to get better right now. Every play, every rep, take advantage of those. And that's really what's going to have to be here in the second half. Are you going to get back in this one? Maybe. You're going to have to chip away, but the only way you can do that is by getting better each play.
5 plays, 33 yards, the 28-yard touchdown pass. It took 1 minute, 15 seconds to score of Franklin County. Short kick, high kick, near side. Juggled and caught by Deshaun Lowe. And Lowe, a junior, is brought down after the kick at the 24-yard line, and that's where Bradley will come onto the field with 32 seconds left in the half. And I would imagine Mike Laparo is going to go to the end of the half formation here and just get his team to the locker room and look ahead to half number 2, which is 32 seconds away.
Marty, I know we've talked about it multiple times, but it's still so weird to see Davidson get the ball back up with a lead late in the half, 2 minutes left, and then they go for it and they're throwing the ball. It's so weird to see them spreading out and going 5 wide, but when you've got a team that's this good and this experienced and you trust them, you might as well.
Declan O'Neill will hand off, and this is Truss with running room out across the 30 to the 35, and a good gain by the very talented freshman Rashad Truss.
I think maybe Davidson thought they were going to go to the old kneel down formation or just run it right up the middle. Bradley's not thinking that, though. Truss showing you a little bit of his ability right there.
Gets out to the 36-yard line with 12 seconds left in the half. O'Neill, play fake, rolls, throws, passes, juggled, caught up ahead as Brady Razor makes the catch, 6'2", 200-pound senior. And that will be the final play of half number 1. So a first half that was dominated by the home team tonight, the Wildcats of Hilliard Davidson. They scored the first time they had the ball. They scored the last time they had the ball here in the half. And in between, scoring as well at the break. Hilliard Davidson on homecoming has Hilliard Bradley in a 35-0 hole as the clubs go to the locker room. Kellyanne Stitz is with Jeremy Scally.
Coach Scally, Johnny de Blasio has been locked in this first half. How would you assess his performance?
Yeah, he's very, very motivated. Really like where he is with his decision-making, his leadership. He's been on point so far.
You guys have quite the lead. I just heard one of your assistants saying it's not over yet. What is your message to the team to continue this momentum in the second half? Yeah,
a game like this, night like this, opponent like this, they're going to keep playing hard. We're going to keep playing hard. It's, the old adage, we got to go in and kind of 0-0, come out of the half. It'll actually tell me a ton about our kids, in my opinion, how we come out of the half. So I'm excited to get in there and talk to them, and excited to hit the reset button.
Thank you, Coach Scally.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys.
Oh, that was an outstanding point right there. Up 35-0, half's not over yet. And Coach Scally's interested to see how his team comes out and handles the second half of this game with a 35-0 advantage. All Davidson in half number 1 here on homecoming in this Battle of Hilliard. Davidson leads Bradley 35-0.
Welcome into the Baffetter Halftime Show. I'm Kelly Anstitz. Right now, Davidson leads Bradley 35-0. But all season long, the CW Columbus and the Ohio Education Association are teaming up to highlight the outstanding teachers making a difference in the lives of their students and their communities. And tonight, we introduce you to two inspiring educators from both Hilliard Davidson and Hilliard Bradley in the Ohio Education Association Educator Spotlight.
The Ohio Education Association and the CW Columbus are putting the spotlight on these exceptional teachers here in Columbus, celebrating math teacher Scott Allen of Hilliard Davidson and honors English teacher Lauren Bramer from Hilliard Bradley. Scott is amazing in all facets of the profession, from building relationships with students to his instructional practices in the classroom. He's a valued member of the Davidson staff.
Just showing kids that their best is good enough is huge, because not everybody's going to get an A on everything, but knowing that you gave it your best shot, that's all that really matters.
Lauren is one of Bradley's most dedicated staff members. Her ability to give the students a voice and ownership in their education allows all of her students to gain skills that will serve them long after they leave Bradley.
Working with them, they're hilarious, they're smart. They really teach me a lot, and I feel like it gives me hope for the future.
Congratulations to these outstanding educators for all of the hard work they do for the future of Ohio.
Go Jags!
Go Cats!
Very inspiring. A big thank you to both teachers for everything that you do every single day. But now it's time for one of the most highly anticipated and unique halftime competitions. Without further delay, it's time for the Safe Flight Mascot Challenge.
Welcome, everyone, to the second annual Safe Flight Mascot Challenge, right here on the CW Columbus. Alrighty then, let's meet the contestants. Looking to pounce, it's Wildcat. Ready to roar, it's Lion. Setting up to soar, it's Eagle. Looking to sting, it's Bumblebee. And from Good Day Columbus, it's Muggsy. This week's challenge, the soccer goal. And it's the mighty Mug Muggsy taking on his mascot competitors. First up, Bumblebee. She seems to be taunting Muggsy, but the big mug is full of confidence. Here's the kick, and it's just a bit outside. Muggsy is certainly having a good laugh. That is one humble Bumblebee. Lion is next. I gotta tell you folks, I don't see any way to score on Muggsy. Lion kicks like a brick wall. Muggsy stones Lion and celebrates the save. The fans aren't too impressed with Muggsy's sportsmanship. No roar this time, Lion. Here's Wildcat as Muggsy is taunting the kitty by laying down like a steel wall. Nothing gets past that mug. That's one furious feline. Last up, it's Eagle. Eagle has no chance here.
I got an idea.
What's this? Wildcat is sneaking behind Muggsy and he scores on Muggsy. The fans celebrate. Muggsy is clearly upset as Wildcat gets her revenge on Muggsy, which means this week's winner is Eagle. Congratulations, Eagle, on your big win. Tune in next week for another exciting Safe Flight Mascot Challenge on the CW Columbus. No mascots were harmed in the making of this video.
Hey, congratulations, Eagle. It just keeps getting better every single week. And so does the action on the field right now. Davidson leads Bradley 35-0. The Baffetter Halftime Show continues after the break.
And we welcome you back to the Bathfitter halftime report. Hilliard Davidson leading Hilliard Bradley by the score of 35-0 here at homecoming for the Davidson Wildcats as they lead Bradley. Scores from around Central Ohio, big Central Catholic League matchup. DeSales and Hartley going at one another, 7-6. DeSales, the Stallions over the Hawks in that always intense matchup. In the Ohio Capital Conference, Canal Winchester on top of Tays Valley, 21-10. That game's in quarter number 2. Elsewhere around the area, Pickerington North rolling right along. Just one loss this season for Nate Hilleridge's team, and they are ahead of Central Crossing 28-0. That game played in quarter number 2. In the Mid-State League, Hamilton Township and Circleville going at one another with the road team, Hamilton Township, up at last check, 35-14. Again, that's in quarter number 2 of that game. Big game also in the Mid-State League tonight. Bloom Carroll, Logan Elm, a couple of pretty good football teams. Ethan Thanthanavong, that standout Bloom Carroll quarterback, has the Bulldogs on top of Logan Elm by the score of 21-0. Pickering and Central back in the OCC, leading Newark 28-0. Pick Central off to a good start this season. Olentangy Liberty and Upper Arlington. It is Liberty on top 21-7. That game in quarter number 2. Reynoldsburg, Groveport, Madison. We had Reynoldsburg a couple of weeks back. They trail the Cruisers at the break, 14, or nearing the break rather, by the score of 14-6. In the City League, a game played last night, Walnut Ridge, the Scots over the Cowboys, 32-0 in a City League matchup. And one more time into the OCC, Westerville South and Delaware Hayes going at one another. And scoreless game as that one is played in quarter number 1. We saw both those teams earlier this season on Toyota Friday Night Rivals. As we always like to do during our broadcast, we certainly talk a lot about the players on the field, but we also love to focus on our scholar athletes, and here they are.
Ohio Education Association is proud to recognize Central Ohio's Scholar Athletes of the Week. Avery Russo is captain of the Hilliard Bradley High School girls soccer team. She's vice president of the senior class cabinet and carries a 4.3 GPA. Joshua Lance earned 2 varsity football letters at Hilliard Davidson High School. He's taking AP classes, a member of the chamber orchestra, and has a 4.5 GPA. Congratulations to these outstanding Ohio Education Association Scholar Athletes.
And as always, our congratulations to those outstanding scholar athletes. 35-0, Hilliard Davidson leads Hilliard Bradley. Highlights, half number 2, coming up on Toyota Friday Night Rivals. Welcome back to the Math Fitter Halftime Report. We are at the break. It is all Hilliard Davidson tonight here on homecoming for the Wildcats. They have stormed out to a 35-0 lead here at the intermission. We're glad to have you back, and welcome to the broadcast booth. Ryan Baker, Marty Bannister, a big half by this Hilliard Davidson football team. We expected a lot out of Johnny DeBlasio in the first half, and we got it.
Yeah, we sure did. He was great running the ball. He was great passing the ball, just in total command of this Davidson offense.
And what you would expect out of a senior quarterback. He had a big first half, and let's watch some of the things he did and his teammates in half number one. Right?
This was the very first drive of the game. They take it right down the field. Kevin Gibbon punching it in from 8 yards out. Classic Davidson.
Wildcats continued on offense. De Blasio with a great play fake right here.
Yeah, just a magician with the ball in his hand. A great job. They think it's going to Gibbon. He turns field, gets it in for the easy score.
The defense also played well in the first half for Davidson, but their offense continued to move the ball up and down the field. Bradley had a chance as they came away with their first pick of the season.
They did, and that's exactly what they needed. Unfortunately, they turned the ball right back over after this. They can't capitalize on it, as it looked like they were going to score. Great takeaway, though, by Cam Metzger.
One of the big plays in that first half for that Davidson offense, and it took the Wildcats, well, it didn't take them long to get right back down the field and score. Wyndham with the touchdown catch.
No, not at all. And when you got 6'3" on the outside going up against 5'10", you just throw it up there for him.
It wins about every time. Again, Declan O'Neal, who I think is going to be a very good quarterback, had that pass tipped. Marcus Allen takes the football away, snuffing out another Bradley chance.
Maybe pull it down and live to fight another day, but unfortunately, it gets the pick. And then here you see de Blasio go. A great block by Andrew Painter on the outside to let him spring it for that 25-yard, 8-touchdown run.
Not often you get in from 28 yards untouched, but de Blasio did, and then they capped off the half with a touchdown pass.
Yeah, Painter, you blocked for me. You let me get in the end zone. Here you go. I'll return the favor to you.
Happy homecoming. I'll lead you to the promised land in this one tonight. There's the first half math in this one, with Hilliard Davidson dominating on the scoreboard and on the stat board as well, too, with those 287 yards to just $114 in the first half for a very young Hilliard Bradley football team. Second half is coming up. We'll see what Bradley can do to try to get back into this one. They're down 35-0 at the half. Half number 2 coming up on Toyota Friday Night Rivals.
I'm just trying to read the room. All right, guys, I got Coach Laparo. Coach, what do you need to see from your defense to contain Johnny de Blasio and that explosive offense?
Well, we've had some injuries in that half, so we've got a lot of kids shuffling around. We tried to make some corrections in there. And, we had a chance to make that a 14-14 football game, and we turned it over and turned it over. So we're a young group, and we're just trying to figure it out.
What was your message to the team at halftime?
Show some pride. It's time to dig down a little deeper and show some pride in what you're doing.
Thank you, Coach Laparo.
Thank you.
Guys.
unquenchable thirst for scarlet and gray. You bring the X's and the O's and stories from the sidelines you've never heard before. It's the best darn podcast in the land. The Buckeye Fever podcast. Stream it now.
What was the message that Bradley head coach Mike Laparo had to his football team at the half? We check in now with Kellyanne Stitz.
Coach, what do you need to see from your defense to contain Johnny de Blasio and that explosive offense?
Well, we've had some injuries in that half, so we've got a lot of kids shuffling around. We tried to make some corrections in there. And, we had a chance to make that a 14-14 football game, and we turned it over and turned it over. So we're a young group, and we're just trying to figure it out.
What was your message to the team at halftime?
Show some pride. It's time to dig down a little deeper and show some pride in what you're doing.
Thank you, Coach Laparo.
Thank you.
Guys.
Kellyanne, thank you very much. And as you heard, the Davidson mindset going into the locker room, let's find out where we're at mentally as we go to half number 2. The same thing Mike Laparo telling his football team as we start the second half. And as we start the second half, this young man coming out to the field right now is Jackson Maynard. He is suffering from Duchenne's syndrome, and a young man who has meant so much to this Hilliard Davidson program, a rallying point for all the players on this football team. A senior will get a chance here to score a touchdown in this game. We will have an untimed down, and Jackson Maynard will get a chance to put the ball in the end zone for the Hilliard Davidson Wildcats. Jackson Maynard was asked earlier in the week, do you want to wait till the final home game of the year to get on the field and score a touchdown? And he said, no, I want to do it against Bradley. And a young man, again, whose fight has meant so much to this Davidson community and to the Hilliard community as a whole. His family has established the Little Hercules Foundation, which is something that helps the young man and raises awareness for what he is battling all across the country. And there he has the football, and Jackson Maynard is heading towards the end zone tonight. And a very special touchdown. A lot of points will be scored during the season in games, but none bigger than that one right there. Touchdown, Jackson Maynard.
Tucked it right inside the pylon. They run the stretch play to the right side, cut it upfield at the right time, and Jackson gets to score that touchdown. How awesome is that? And Marty, that's one of the beauty of sports in general, but high school sports in particular.
And you really like the way, too, both coaching staffs came together, understanding what this meant to both programs, certainly to the Davidson program and Jackson Maynard, as he gets just inside the pylon and into the end zone for the touchdown. And you just got to love the celebration as well, too. Both teams coming over to congratulate Jackson Maynard. And there you see the young man, the touchdown. And just a great story. And as we mentioned, his family continuing in the efforts to raise awareness for this disease. Kellyanne Stitz is with Jackson's mom right now.
Kelly, I'm with Kelly Maynard, Jackson's mom. A little emotional right now. Just describe the emotions that you're having.
Oh, just joy. He's been friends with these boys since he was in kindergarten. They are so close. They are so dedicated that to make him feel an incredible part of the team. And normally he's on the sidelines as their number one hype man, but they always, since they were in middle school, took this opportunity to stop and let him feel what it's like to get on the field like he's always wanted to do.
Jackson has been a huge part of the program. Coach Scally told me that the guys volunteered to ride the bus with him, buses that were wheelchair accessible. You guys hosted a senior dinner on Thursday. What does this program mean to your family?
Oh, it's everything. This community is everything. It's about so much more than football. And I know that sounds cliche, everyone says it, but this is about inclusion. This is about caring for someone other than yourself. It's about brotherhood. It's about looking out for each other, supporting one another. And these boys are at my house all the time, and they are the best young men, being raised by the best parents. They're just the best boys. I can't say enough about them.
And Kelly, you guys have the Little Hercules Foundation. Can you expound upon that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You have the Little Hercules Foundation. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I launched the foundation right after Jack was diagnosed to raise money for scientific research. And we just had our first gene therapy approved. And it was developed at Nationwide Children's Hospital. It was approved last year. We now have 8 therapies approved and on the market. When he was diagnosed, we had none. So that was my focus then. I run it full time now because I want to make sure that we eradicate this disease and no little boy ever has to suffer from this disease again.
Kelly, thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us. Now
thank
go
you.
celebrate with
Yeah,
Jackson and the
thank
family.
you. Thanks.
Guys.
Kelly, and thank you. I'm sure that she is not the only one who has a tear in her eye right now. That was a very, very special moment tonight here at Hilliard Davidson. We start the second half with the score 35-0 Davidson, and with the score where it's at 35-0, we start under the running clock in OHSAA high school football rules. Terrace Dudley makes the catch of the O'Neill pass and is out of bounds at the 49-yard line, and that's where Bradley will scrimmage first down and 10 as Declan O'Neill with the completion.
That's some of the things we talk about with O'Neill right there. That's not an easy throw to make from the far hash to the near sideline, but he's got plenty of arm strength, plenty of zip to get it out there to Dudley.
Rashad trusts the handoff and gets into Davidson territory across the midfield drive. I thought it was interesting, Ryan, as we mentioned, we heard from both head coaches. We heard from Jeremy Scally going into the locker room, hey, I want to see where my team's at mentally coming into the second half. We heard Mike Laparo say coming back onto the field to start the second half, hey, I want to see where my team's at mentally in the second half. Big part of a game like this.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Scally all week talked about wanting to see how his team responded from that gut punch. He said their first real gut punch of the season last week against Olentangy Orange. He thought they did good during the week through practice. He thought they did good here in the first half, and now they need to ice this one away.
O'Neill to throw and has a receiver to the far side of the field. Jordan Reed Davis makes the catch and makes his way close to another Bradley first down as we play here in half number 2. Again, 35-0. Davidson dominating the first half of this game.
And if you're Coach Laparo, we talked about this. They just want to make sure they're getting better. Every snap, every rep, every play. They could have, as he mentioned, this could have been a tie ball game in the first half, but just untimely mistakes for them causing this game to get out of hand. How can they respond to that? Can they clean those up in the second half?
O'Neill to throw near side, and Reed Davis makes the catch and stretches ahead for another Bradley first down as he gets to the 36-yard line. That first down, and that look at that first down, sponsored by Mighty Dog Roofing. Good throw, good catch by O'Neill to Reed Davis, and another first down for the Jaguars.
Riley Johnson doing everything he can there to make sure he hangs on to Reed Davis. He remembers that 50-plus yard catch in the first half and how dangerous he is. Riley Johnson, the homecoming king. They call him Captain America, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, all-American boy. Great tackle there.
Leaping grab on the far side sideline by Trey Paulus, and inside the 20, and another Bradley first down as the Jaguars going to the air. They get inside the 20 to the 17. They're inside the Buckeye Basement Solution Red Zone. Quality solutions at an affordable price, and Declan O'Neill finding room throwing the football here in half number 2.
Getting in a little rhythm here in the first drive of the second half. They only went towards Trey Paulus twice in the first half. They weren't able to get a connection with him. This is his first game back. He got hurt in the Gahanna scrimmage before the season started. Him and Declan, being sophomores together, have a great connection. See if they might try to go that way more in the second half.
Instead, it's O'Neill keeping the football and running straight up the hash marks inside the 5, and a first and goal upcoming now for the Hilliard Bradley offense. They get inside the 5 to the 4.
Declan O'Neill doing his best Johnny de Blasio impression there, taking it right up the middle, making a couple guys miss. We mentioned he can do that. He is a heck of a throwing quarterback, but he's athletic enough to run it and get some first downs.
So a first and goal, the ball at the Davidson 4. And again, running clock right now with 7:05 to go in quarter number 3. O'Neill inside and running into the end zone for the first Bradley score of the night is Rashad Truss. Ball popped out of his hands and rolled out the back of the end zone, but Truss gets into the end zone for the score from 4 yards out, and the Jaguars are on the board at the 7-minute mark.
I'll tell you what, if you're Coach Laparo, I don't think you can ask for a better drive of the second half there. Rashad Truss, the third touchdown of his young career, just the freshman, his second rushing the ball. He has one receiving as well. Nice little run there. Good job by the offensive line up front. Really didn't get touched heading in there.
Xavier Love, who is on for the extra point. 35-6 is the score. The extra point attempt is blocked, and the score will stay at 35-6 with exactly 7 minutes left. So once we go back under the 30-point mark right now, the scoreboard will, or the clock rather, will roll and go on the officials' timing. 35-6, Hilliard Davidson with the lead over Hilliard Bradley. This is Toyota Friday Night Rivals.
Get out there and get away. Hit the trails and take it off-road.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota truck.
Like the trail-dominating Toyota Tacoma.
The best-selling truck in its class for the past 19 years.
You want to know how they stay #1? You give Tacoma a more advanced powertrain. This hybrid iForce Max delivers 326 horsepower.
Now you can lease a new Tacoma from just $319 a month and get 2 years no-cost maintenance included.
Nobody builds trucks better than Toyota. Let's go places.
Jaguars on the board again, now trailing 35-6 with the run by Truss for the score. And Davidson will get the football here in a moment. The scoring summary brought to you by Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County. The Jaguars scoring drive, 7 plays, 59 yards, took 4.5 minutes of third quarter clock. Capped off by the Truss 4-yard touchdown run, 35-6. Extra point attempt was blocked.
They come out to start the second half and get Declan O'Neal in a little rhythm. Couple completions, gets a first down with his legs, and then the freshman, Rashad Truss, caps it off.
Here is the kick by Love. This will be a kick that will be fielded to the far side by Davidson and out across the 25-yard line on the return, and the Bradley defense will greet the Davidson offense for the first time here in half number 2. The Hilliard Bradley High School Marching Band put on quite a show earlier tonight. This is a look at their performance. It's sponsored by Music Go Round. Check out their locations at 2630 Bethel Road and inside the Stone Ridge Plaza in Gahanna, the Hilliard Bradley High School Marching Band. There you see the first half for Johnny DeBlasio, 10 of 12, and just for good measure, 55 yards rushing and a couple of touchdowns. Stats provided tonight by the one and only, our crack statistician, Jason Van Hoos.
I'm glad I had Johnny DeBlasio on my high school fantasy team this week. 2 touchdowns running, 2 touchdowns throwing the ball. He's had a heck of a night.
There's Kevin Gibbon with his first touch of the second half, getting from the 29 out to the 32-yard line.
Marty, they haven't had to use Kevin Gibbon too much in this game, but coming into this one, Gibbon had 2,642 yards and 23 touchdowns. He's just 325 yards from cracking the top 5 in Hilliard Davidson history.
And there have been some pretty fair guys to carry the pigskin at this program.
Quite a few.
As we were talking in half number 1, running the football has been such a big part of what they have done here in the history of Davidson football. They do have a couple of state championships in the program's history in 2006 and 2009. Here's Gibbon again out across the 35-yard line, and the pile gets out to the 37-yard line. It's interesting to note their 2 state championships, both of the games were won by 1 point. They beat Maynard 36-35 in 2006, then came back in 2009 and edged then Division I Cleveland Glenville 16-15.
And would you expect anything different from
No.
Hilliard Davidson back then? I remember a guy, Bo DeLandy, on those teams that was pretty good.
This district has had its share of football talent. The Bradley Jaguars last year going 13-2, getting to the state semifinals. Darby's had some solid years as well, too. And really, if you look at the coaches in this district, the head coaches at the 3 high schools, pretty tough to top the 3 that are coaching in this district as far as coaching talent is concerned.
They really are pretty good as Davidson takes a timeout here. The old adage, what if they combined? What if it was just one high school still? How good they would be.
5:25 to go, third quarter, timeout on the field, 35-6, Davidson over Bradley on Toyota Friday Night Rivals.
Fans, I'm going to announce this 50-50 ticket one more time and give you another minute or so to get up here and get it, and then we're moving on. The winning 50-50 ticket one more time, 149-389. It's a big ticket. Don't throw it away, fans. Fans, the news that you need about the Hilliard Athletic Department
That timeout on the field sponsored by Aware Recovery Care. In-home addiction help is waiting for you at awarerecoverycare.com. Along with Kellyanne Stitz on the sideline, Ryan Baker from 97.1 The Fan, pinch hitting for the Hall of Famer Jeff Logan tonight. Good to have Bake in the booth with us. That sounds like a sponsored segment on a radio show, doesn't it? Bake in the booth.
I like that.
There we go.
That's the first bake you've dropped tonight.
Yeah, wow. I told you at one point I would throw one of those in. I'm Marty Patterson. We're glad you're with us here tonight.
I knew you would, partner.
Haven't seen too many triads and wideouts on the field yet tonight, though. Here's a handoff to Gibbon, and there he goes. 45-yard line, and he is on the roll into Bradley territory at the 30, and will angle out of bounds far side. First down and 10 upcoming for Hilliard Davidson as Kevin Gibbon finds chunk running room for the big gain, and the Wildcats push into Jaguar territory.
When you got running back like Kevin Gibbon and Dane Schmidt, when the third and fourth quarters come, as the game goes on, they're even harder to tackle. Jeremy Scally said that these running backs realize that too, and they take advantage of it. He said he's trying to get his offensive line to realize that they can have that same effect. He said they're not there yet, but they're getting there. And there you see, Marty, 11 carries, 94 yards already for Gibbon, and he's only going to be gaining steam here.
Edging towards that century mark again this season. De Blasio keeps the football after faking to Schmidt, trying to find the edge to the near side, and will just angle out of bounds to the near side, and then gets knocked down from behind. Terrace Dudley comes over. The two exchange some pleasantries, but a number of flags come tossing in from behind. And ahead of this play, we're going to have a personal foul coming up here.
And that's just got to make Mike Laparo, it's got to drive him crazy. That's the second time his senior has done something like that tonight from Dudley, and I'm sure it's just frustration of how the season's going, how the game's going, but you just got to be more composed than that.
Jeremy Scally discussing things with Charles Anderson, our referee. And we will hear his interpretation of what happened here.
And immediately Dudley comes off the field. Maybe a teachable moment
Dead ball.
Here.
Personal foul. Late hit defense, number 4.
Play carry to the 23. Watch here. As de Blasio sprints for the sideline, here comes Dudley. And then that little extra forearm shove.
And it's just a shame because if you see that replay there, you see what makes Terrace Dudley so special. One, he's huge back there at the safety position.
The strides,
but that
too.
speed,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
closed so fast on that play, came from out of nowhere. You just got to get those mental parts of the game down. You can't let frustration set in like that.
In the background, you hear the 854 making its way towards Northwest Ohio on the tracks behind us. De Blasio hands off Gibbon to the 5 and stretches inside the 5. It will be a second down and goal upcoming. Or second down, they can still get a first down rather without scoring. They can get to the 1, inside the 1 without scoring to keep the drive alive. He's at the 4.
If the train's heading to the northwest, Marty, it might be heading towards Sandusky, Coach Scally's hometown. Played for Perkins High School, and I'll tell you what, Perkins pretty good right now. The number 1 team in the state in Division 4.
Now, see, Logan would have never have known that.
Coach Scally's nephew plays on that football team.
What I mean is Logan wouldn't have known about the train going to Sandusky. He probably would have known about Scally being at Sandusky.
Well, at first I thought you meant a plane when you said an 845, but then it hit me.
Handoff goes to Gibbon, looking to the edge. High steps one man, high steps another man. A flag is down. Gibbon is down out of bounds to the near side.
Penalty markers down.
As a couple of flags come sailing in.
Seeing Davidson now go back to more of the running game, obviously the running clock.
Blocking it back. Offense number 4. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And we don't have the running clock anymore as we're under 30, but just trying to salt this one away, take as much time off the clock as you possibly can.
They will walk this one back. Both these teams will be back in division action next week. Of course, they're both members of the Central Division of the OCC. It gets no easier for the Jaguars next week. They have 5-1 Olentangy Liberty waiting. And then after that, they have 5-1 Olentangy Orange down the line. For Davidson next week, They have 1-5 Dublin Kaufman. Boy, Kaufman's 1-5 right now. Here's de Blasio to throw for Wyndham in the end zone, and the pass is juggled and incomplete to the near side. I looked at that record a couple of times when I was putting my game notes together. Kaufman's 1-5 right now.
I'll tell you what, though, they're not an easy out either.
No.
They took on Pickerington North earlier this year. As you see the play, great coverage by Jordan Reed-Davis. Been impressed with his ability on both sides of the ball. Amari Valerio Hudson, the do-everything quarterback for Dublin Kaufman, he is tough to stop. He's like a one-man show for that offense. But easy and the OCC Central, those two words don't go together
you
at
got
all.
That right. Third down at 16 now. The ball back at the 17. De Blasio want to set up a little bit of a screen. Now he'll roll to the near side with the football, and we'll just heave this one downfield and out of bounds. Trying to help him out was Noah Wellman. We talked about Wellman again. You see him right on the front part of that play as he was trying to clear the way for de Blasio. He wears number 70 for that Davidson offensive line, the 6'5", 256-pound junior. Wellman, good shot of him right there. Last year played mostly on the JV team where he was at that time 6'3" tall and weighed 219 pounds. As a sophomore, head coach Jeremy Scally saying, keep an eye on that young man. He is going to develop into a Power 5, Power 4, however you wish to phrase it, conference recruit. And he also said he's the type of kid that I could see playing at the next level, meaning Sundays in a few years.
Yeah, he's super, super athletic, especially for that size. He's been playing right tackle. Right now on the kickoff, he's over on the left side, but he's a guy, I think he's even gotten bigger, Marty. I think when Coach Scally was talking to you, he said he's 6'6", about 275 now.
I don't think he did that during the week, but nonetheless. Field goal attempt here from the 24 is up, and it angles, and did it hook its way through? It did. Good by Avery Browning. And the field goal, he is now 4-5 on the season, pushes the lead back over the 30-point mark at 38-6. Exactly 4 minutes to go here in this third quarter of this homecoming matchup tonight here between Hilliard Davidson and Hilliard Bradley, with the home team on top. Next week, Friday Night Rivals will be right back in the Hilliard District. We will see Darby taking on a very good Olentangy football team. The Newman Roofing pregame report starts at 5 o'clock on ABC6 with Kellyanne Stitz. And then Jeff Logan's back in the booth. He'll join me for our call as Darby and Olentangy meet next Friday night. Our coverage at 7 o'clock. This game preview sponsored by our friends at Newman Roofing. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof. 614-NEW-ROOF.
That Olentangy team, Marty, man, 3 straight shutouts coming into tonight. They are good on defense with Caden Gebhardt, J.J. Jaw, Daniel Stevens. They are stout on the defensive end.
7 plays, 53 yards, 256. The Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County scoring summary, capped off by the 34-yard Avery Browning field goal. And here is the kick to the near side. It will take a turn and go out of bounds to the near side. And again, since we are back over the 30-point mark right now, the running clock back in effect right now here tonight. We would once again like to thank our friends at Kroger Great Lakes Distribution Center. Because of their contributions, tonight's game is streaming live on the ABC6 YouTube channel, the ABC6 News app, and as well on the CWColumbus.com.
Let's see, Marty, if the Jaguars can continue that momentum they had on the first drive of the first half. They came out, they let Declan O'Neal sling it around a little bit. Rashad Truss gets the touchdown for them. Let's see if they can capitalize on that. There you see Declan O'Neal, 8 of 13 for 123 tonight, 1 touchdown. Unfortunately, those 2 interceptions, but he got in a little rhythm in that first drive here in the second half.
You were talking about that Olentangy team a moment ago. Don't forget that linebacker C.J. Santa as well, too. He's having a pretty good year for that Olentangy football team.
They've got so many, I couldn't name them all.
That's right, you just keep going through names. Well, and as the first play from scrimmage here gets across the 35, keep in mind, too, remember, this was a team last year that had a great run and lost a pretty good quarterback in Ethan Grunkemeyer, who went on to Penn State. And Coach Bartholomew's team, all of a sudden, they're right back in the thick of things at 5-1 going into tonight's play.
I'll tell you, Wade Bartholomew, he can coach a little bit. He did it down at Bloom Carroll, and now he's taken that success right up into Lewis Center with Olentangy as well.
Buckley almost had O'Neal in the backfield. He whirls out of the tackle attempt and will race upfield with the football and steps out of bounds and got just enough. Did he? He did. A first down for the Hilliard Bradley offense. Buckley had him dead to rights in the backfield, but missed him.
Declan O'Neal showing his strength as the sophomore there to get away. Also showing his athletic ability, and a good job by him extending the football, the awareness there to try and get the first down. I thought for a second he was going to throw that ball away, but he said, no, we can do this.
1:40 left in the third quarter. Again, the running clock in effect right now with the lead over 30 points in half number 2. O'Neal pump fakes, throws, has a receiver. That's Stewart making the catch into Davidson territory. And that play carries to the Wildcats' 44-yard line. Don't forget, you can get caught up on what is happening with your favorite high school football team. Join Kellyanne Stitz tonight for FNR Scores on Fox 28. It is sponsored by Columbus State Community College. It's after college football coverage on Fox 28.
Saron Stewart, we haven't talked much about him. The freshman wide receiver, 6'4", 185 pounds.
O'Neal running, reversing, stepping through the pocket. Gets by Buckley again and is dropped. Buckley was hanging on to him down low, had him high but missed him there, and hung on down low to bring him down as he got to the 41-yard line.
Marty, watching this Bradley team with O'Neal, the sophomore at quarterback, Paulus, the sophomore at receiver, Saron Stewart and Rashad Truss, both freshmen at a wide receiver and running back position, I get a big vibe of Olentangy Liberty a couple years ago, where they started Andrew Leonard and Jake Struck and a bunch of sophomores. They took some lumps, but now we see the year those kids are having in their senior year for Liberty. I wouldn't be surprised in 2 years to see this Hilliard Bradley team where a Liberty team is this season.
Clock will run down, and that will be the end of quarter number 3 tonight here at Hilliard Davidson High School. Davidson on top of Bradley. It's homecoming tonight, and it has been a happy homecoming. Jackson Maynard has a touchdown tonight. And folks, there's your highlight. 38-6, Davidson leads Bradley as we go to quarter number 4.
Well, and remember your buddy when you make this. And it's good.
This sneak peek at the Hilliard Davidson High School Marching Band is sponsored by Music Go Round. Check out their locations at 2630 Bethel Road and inside the Stone Ridge Plaza in Gahanna. The Hilliard Davidson and Hilliard Bradley Marching Bands performing at the intermission tonight.
Well, again, 30 days of free Chick-fil-A from Chick-fil-A Market of Hilliard.
We start quarter number 4 here at Hilliard Davidson. And Davidson on top of Bradley by the score of 35-6 as Declan O'Neal throws to start quarter number 4. Pass is incomplete. Trying to make a leaping catch to the near side was Trey Paulus. And down the incompletion as the clock rolls along. Again with the lead at over 30 points with a flag down as well too. Back upfield at the 37-yard line. You see Paulus trying to haul that one in. Richard Anderson will tell us.
And that's one man downfield. Offense. That penalty's been declined. 4th down.
My apologies, Charles Anderson will tell us. I don't know who Richard Anderson is, but I'm sure he would have said the same thing. So
I think Richard is Charles's dad.
Okay.
He just isn't officiating anymore.
Well, there you go.
Trey Paulus got to bring that in for your quarterback. Davidson had it well defended there. I like this, though. I think Bradley should go to that more. They haven't been able to get that connection with Paulus being out. Really work on that and get those guys back in rhythm here in the second half.
And O'Neal will throw near side and overthrows Paulus. The defensive back is down. And Paulus was open, but the pass sails over top of the defensive back for Hilliard Davidson as Cam Metzger hobbles off the field. Let's check in again with Kellyanne Stitz.
Guys, this is a tradition-rich rivalry. Both teams have a win Hilliard board in their locker rooms, and whichever team beats both Hilliard teams, that group is enshrined on that board forever. But for Davidson, Coach Scally wanted to up the ante and add to the intensity, so he created his own tradition, creating this decal right here. There's a water tower in the middle of the town that has Old Hilliard established 1853 on it. Scally created this decal reflecting the water tower game, as they call this one. So if the team beats both Hilliard teams, they get to add this decal to their helmet tonight, and that looks like it's going to be that way for Davidson.
Earlier this year, Davidson took care of Darby 43-7. So the water tower sticker, there you go.
Saw that water tower a lot growing up, having cousins that lived in downtown Hilliard. Could see it from their house, go down to the park or the school and play. Know it well.
Davidson with the football out to the 49-yard line with the lead at 30+. The clock continues to roll. Josh de Blasio, who will likely be the heir apparent at the quarterback spot, will run the offense right now with Davidson with the football, getting 10-10 to go in this one here tonight.
And they're comfortable with Josh running this offense. He started a couple games in the past when Johnny has been hurt and not been ready to start the season. Josh was in there. They said this was really a close battle between these two, both of the last couple of years. Josh is just so good at receiver that he does a little better job out there than Johnny, so it makes their whole offense better when Johnny's under center and Josh is out at the receiver position.
That was Dane Schmidt knifing his way into Bradley territory to the 35-yard line. You know, you were talking earlier as the third quarter wound down about Mike Leparo on the Bradley side, about their youth on this football team. And Mike told me when we were talking earlier in the week, he said this team, because of the type of talent that it has, this Bradley Jaguar team, so it kind of reminds him of the team he had in 2020, which, again, in the COVID year, it was hard to kind of get a feel about anything as far as what your teams could do because of the way the schedules were slapped together at the last minute and the way games were played at that time. But he said this team kind of has the feel that team had, as Schmidt looks for running room out near the 30-yard line. That first down sponsored by Classic Exteriors. But he feels this team kind of feels like that team, which it got into the playoffs that year, beat the 4 seed, beat the 5 seed, and kind of laid the foundation for what we saw last year when they got to the state semifinals.
And that's what we talked about. Just because you're down in this game, don't give up. Try to get better each play. Take advantage of each rep, because they're going to be in the playoffs with the expanded playoffs in Division I. You never know what happened. That's a whole new season. And this team, we talked about it, they're young, but they have a lot of talent.
And you used the term hard out a short time ago talking about some of these teams, and I think as we look ahead, they could fall into that category. With running room is Andrew Painter for Davidson across the 20-yard line, inside the 20-yard line to the 18-yard line. That's the basement, the Buckeye Basement Solution Red Zone. Quality solutions at an affordable price as the clock spins towards the 8-minute mark. Here comes Andrew Painter.
We talked about Painter earlier. He had a block that helped spring de Blasio. I love to see those guys get rewarded. He got a touchdown earlier. Now he's getting a couple carries in this second half. But going back to Bradley, they do have talent. They're going to. The future is bright here for this team. It is tough right now, especially given the highs of last season. But here in the next couple seasons, they're going to be a team that is a force to be reckoned with, maybe even later on in this year.
Handoff goes to Gibbon, who's still in the game, and he plows ahead to the 10-yard line. You saw the tackle, Lucas Benner, go set from one side to the other. Jeremy Scally said earlier in the week that he loves his depth up front. We talked about the size they have up there, but he also said we can play 8 guys up front if we have to, and we will during the game. We like to keep them fresh. Mike Leparo knew that was going to be a challenge tonight to try and slow down that big offensive line. You can see the reaction right there. I think he understands what he's going up against right now. But they got a lot of people up front that can run him in and out. It keeps everybody fresh and allows that offense to keep churning.
Owen Croakey, Abe Swathwood, and they don't even have Sebastian Stewart, who is out tonight with a little bit of an injury. He's in a walking boot down on the sideline. He's a guy that started quite a few games this year for him.
Here's Gibbon trying to spin out of congestion on the near side inside the 10 and is brought down. As we roll to the 6:40 mark of this fourth quarter. This game was pretty much put in the hip pocket of Davidson in half number one. They raced out to a 35-0 lead. But as, again, we told you a couple of times during the first half, it wasn't as if Bradley just didn't show up. They had some chances. There was the distinct possibility they could have had this game level on a couple of possessions, but turnovers hurt them in the first half, and the inability to get Davidson off the field was a big part of that half as well, too.
And look, these kids, that last play right there, they had great pursuit to the ball. There was about 7 or 8 silver hats there at the end of that play. They're still out here. They're still playing hard. They're still working.
First and goal at the 8, and the handoff goes inside to Schmidt. And he is brought down. Schmidt, the 5'11", 198-pound junior, and that was a guy that Jeremy Scally talked about. It's good to have him, as you see he and Kevin Gibbon standing there side by side in the huddle. That Dane Schmidt, he can eat up about 10 to 15 carries a game for us, which takes some of the workload off of Gibbon, which keeps him fresh.
And it also, like we talked about, pushes Gibbon.
It does, yeah.
Last year, Schmidt had a better week of practice, week 10, so Jeremy Scally started him in that UA game over Gibbon, and Schmidt had a great game. It really helped drive Gibbon to get better in the off season and make him, like we talked about, join the wrestling team, lean down a little bit and work on that speed.
You can get ready for Saturday game day with the perfect play. That is, of course, the Buckeye Fever podcast. It's the only way to feed your unquenchable thirst. He said unquenchable thirst. For Scarlet and Gray, bringing you the X's and O's and stories from the sidelines that you've never heard before. It is indeed the best damn podcast in the land, the Buckeye Fever podcast. Streamed now on the ABC6 YouTube channel or wherever you get podcasts. 38-6 is the lead for Hilliard Davidson over Hilliard Bradley. This timeout on the field sponsored by Aware Recovery Care. In-home addiction help is waiting for you at awarerecoverycare.com.
Talking to Coach Scally this week, he talked about heading into this season that he thought this was a championship level team. And he said that talent would not be the issue on this team. It was, were they willing to do the hard stuff? This is the most complete roster, he said, he's had here at Davidson, but how would they respond to adversity? He said they got their first gut punch last week in that loss to Orange, and I'd say they've responded with flying colors.
And Andrew Painter gets into the end zone, spinning for the score as he slices his way into the end zone for the touchdown to increase the lead to 44-6 on the 4-yard scoring scamper. And Hilliard Davidson pushes the lead to 38 points with the extra point to come. That Ramos Roofing touchdown. Get your free estimate on a roof by calling or texting 614-761-ROOF.
Just a great job by the left side of that offensive line. Painter doing a great job, gets his second touchdown of the game, 1 receiving, now 1 rushing.
They have spread the wealth tonight, have the Wildcats. Avery Browning on to try the extra point. The win tonight will level this series between these two rivals at 5 victories apiece. First met in 2015. Snap is good, the hold is good, the extra point attempt is also good as well. 45-6, Davidson leads Bradley. It's Toyota Friday Night Rivals.
Rounding out the sports news, the Rose volleyball team finished the week Thursday with a huge win, 5 sets over Ellen Kaufman. The volleyball cats are held next week on Tuesday versus Orange Hilliard Football Ladies. And in girls tennis, the Wildcat tennis team is now in postseason play. The team made a historic finish for the longest tournament run before being eliminated by Upper Arlington. The team entered their regular season 11-5, with several players qualifying for the district tournament this coming Tuesday. Doubles duo Mackenzie Klein and Madison Klein only give up 2 games in their sectional run so far, while doubles duo Greta Borjatsi and Ayla Mahevki were able to upset the 2 seed of the sectional. Both doubles teams clinched their spot in the district tournament taking place this Tuesday.
Suicide prevention is a serious topic that needs to be tackled. That's why Friday Night Rivals is proud to partner with 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline of Ohio. Call, text, or chat for free to get confidential mental health support anytime. 4:26 is what remains to be played in this one tonight here at Davidson High School, with the Wildcats on top of Hilliard Bradley. The scoring summary: 8 plays, 59 yards. It took 5 minutes and 40 seconds, capped off by the 7-yard Andrew Painter touchdown run. Scoring summary brought to you by Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County.
I'll tell you what, Marty, this Davidson team, the tough loss to open the season against Pine Richland out of Pennsylvania, and then last week losing to Orange, Levi Davis, that's nothing to shake a stick at. Levi Davis, Coach Scally said, is worth 6 wins alone, just him. And that Orange team is really good. But this Davidson team, they're dangerous for anyone in the area. Liberty, Upper Arlington, any of the Olentangy schools. They're not going to see a Watterson in Division III, but there's a lot of really good football teams in Central Ohio right now, Marty, and Davidson's right there in the mix with all of them.
We are usually about the time of every broadcast we do Logan's Heroes, but since Jeff isn't here tonight, we have, is it fair to call it Baker's half dozen? Do you have 6? Or
Baker's Best? I
Baker's
don't know.
Best?
I know. Well, whatever we want to do. But, no, we've got some really good teams in the Central Ohio area right now.
There's Logan's Heroes. There are the schools that Jeff usually talks about every one of them in the segment of Logan's Heroes. But
well, I mean, Watterson's got to be the cream of the crop right now in Central Ohio, coming off of that trip to the state championship game last year as Truss makes a nice run, picks up a first down. Pickerington North, I know they had the tough loss to start the year to St. Ed's, but they've been scoring points like crazy ever since. Michael Taylor, he's going to be a Bobcat, maybe one of the best players in the area. They've got 3 or 4 kids that are D1 kids. They're really good as well. That Liberty Upper Arlington game tonight, man, what a game. And probably Liberty, talent-wise, shouldn't be on the field with Arlington, but Justin Buttermore's got to be the best coach in Central Ohio, maybe one of the top handful of coaches in the state.
Here's Truss spinning and picking up yardage, and a nice run by the freshman. We've mentioned his name a couple of times tonight. One of those bright young stars on this Bradley team, Rashad Truss, and a nice gain there as he puts the ball into Davidson territory at the 40.
I love what I'm seeing of Truss. I liked it. He caught my eye in practice the other day. He just has that it factor, it seems like, in the running back position.
Absolutely. We told you earlier about that play that he had against Marysville on a little screen pass where he managed to avoid 7 tackles. And Mike Laparo said he showed that to some of his coaching friends who said, Coach, you've got something very special right there. 2 minutes to go in the game. It's Hilliard Davidson on top of Bradley by the score 45-6. You are watching Toyota Friday Night Rivals.
Get out there and get away. Get to a game. Get out for a night out in a new Toyota.
Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, like this all-wheel drive RAV4 Hybrid.
When it comes to SUVs, more people count on RAV4 year after year after year.
Now get 4.99 APR financing on a new RAV4 or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $339 a month, plus 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota. Let's go places.
Declan O'Neill finds Trey Paulus in the end zone from 37 yards out for the score. And the Hilliard Bradley Jaguars get a touchdown with under 2 minutes to go in the game on a pretty throw and a nice route run by Paulus. Touchdown, Hilliard Bradley.
And we talked about, you can see why they really like Declan O'Neill. What a pass there to Trey Paulus. And they're going to have that combination for the next 2 years after this, the rest of this year and the next 2. Those 2 both sophomores. Man, if those 2, with Paulus this being his first game, they get back in rhythm with each other. That is a dangerous, dangerous combo.
The extra point attempt is up, and it is good by Xavier Love. 45-13 is the score with 45 seconds left. Each week we always pick a player of the game, and I think on a night like this, it is a pretty easy selection tonight. Ryan Baker, it will be hard to pick against that young man right there.
Just look at those numbers for Johnny DeBlasio, 11 of 14, very efficient, 143 and 2 touchdowns. That 1 interception, I don't know if that was really his fault though. 8 rushes, 63 yards, 2 scores. We mentioned I started him this week in my high school fantasy league, and it paid off with those 4 touchdowns from number 10, the 3-year starter.
I thought you were actually joking about that high school. There is actually a high school fantasy league?
No, I think I probably was joking.
Oh, good. I hope so.
That might be my cash cow. That might be my $1 million idea there.
Yeah, you might want to think about that.
Maybe when we're allowed to have NIL for high school players in Ohio at some point. I don't know.
I think that's unfortunately coming at some point.
That's a mute point right now, though.
45 seconds left. Clock is stopped as we get both teams back on the field here to wrap this one up tonight. Again, next week, Davidson will travel the short distance up 270 to Kaufman, while Bradley next week will travel to Olentangy Liberty. And the Central Division, you talk about just a treacherous run. You've got Upper Arlington, Davidson, Liberty, Orange, all at 4-2 or better going into play tonight. And they're all just going to sort their way through each other in this Central Division race in the OCC.
With the running clock here, Marty, this might be this kickoff our last play of the game. You mentioned, though, that OCC Central. What a gauntlet these next 3 weeks are going to be.
If you can navigate your way through that, you will have accomplished something, and that will do it tonight. Homecoming ends at Hilliard Davidson, and a successful homecoming night for Jeremy Scally's football team as they roll to the victory tonight. They take the Hilliard series, knocking off Darby and Bradley this season. And tonight, with the victory, nice exchange here by a couple of good friends, Mike Laparo and Jeremy Scally, as they talk out near the midfield stripe. And that's one of the aspects we kind of talked a lot about during the broadcast tonight, how all 3 coaches in this district have a great deal of respect for one another. And a game tonight that Davidson wins again by the final of 45-13 with the victory. Bradley goes to 5-2 on the season, and with the loss, this Davidson team, Davidson is at 5-2, and Bradley with the loss slips to 2-5, 0-2 in the Central, and Davidson gets a 1-1 mark now in the Central with the win tonight. We will have our post-game coverage coming up for you in moments. Davidson beats Bradley 45-13 on tonight's edition of Toyota Friday Night Rivals.
The wandering son returns. The older brother, who's been away from the family for over 1,000 days, is back. A little bolder, more sophisticated, stronger yet leaner. The all-new Land Cruiser resumes its place alongside the new, more dynamic Tacoma, the powerful Tundra, the legendary 4Runner, and the full-size adventuring Sequoia to reunite Toyota's 5 brothers. The family that plays together stays together. Toyota, let's go places.
45-13 our final tonight. Davidson with the victory over Hilliard Bradley. Back along with Ryan Baker in the broadcast booth. I'm Marty Bannister. Kellyanne Stitz is making her way towards the Hilliard Davidson celebration. Off to our broadcast right here tonight. This was a 35-0 lead for Davidson at the intermission. And they roll to the victory here tonight to again go to 5-2 on the season and 1-1 in the OCC Central, while the Bradley loss drops the Jaguars to 2-5 and 0-2 in this very difficult to navigate OCC Central. The presentation of the Orb is coming up. Kellyanne Stitz is amongst the Hilliard Davidson Wildcats with head coach Jeremy Scally, and I do believe Jackson Maynard is down there as well. Kellyanne?
Coach Scally, a big win tonight over your rival on homecoming. You guys are now the Kings of Hilliard. How proud are you of your team's effort tonight?
Yeah, love our kids. They're tough kids. that gut punch I talked about, that's a pretty darn good response to our first real gut punch of the year, which didn't happen tonight. That process started on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I thought they handled themselves really like good young men. Did an awesome job just getting back to work. Really, really proud of them.
Johnny DeBlasio is locked in 4 touchdowns tonight. He's our Friday Night Rivals player of the game. How would you assess his performance?
I think he was a little extra motivated tonight. I think he was on point. He's team leader, tremendous amount of experience from him. He's a voice in the locker room. He's an extension of the coaching staff. He's really, really fun to coach.
Many highlights in this one from your team, but the highlight of the night coming from Jackson Maynard.
Yeah.
What impact has he made on your team?
I mean, it's hard to articulate how much. You know, at minimum, Jackson gives all of us a tremendous amount of perspective. You know, we come out and see him, and it's, you know, you don't have room, you don't have an opportunity to complain about having a bad day. The dude is all smiles, he's all heart, he's all Davidson football. He's a program dude, he's a culture dude. He's our guy, and we love him.
Jackson, I'm going to come over to you. The MVP of tonight. What was that feeling like when you found the end zone?
It felt really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How proud are you of your team's win tonight?
I'm freaking happy.
All right, Coach Scally, I'm going to present you, with the orb tonight. Congratulations. Where are you guys going to put this one?
We'll put it next to the others in the locker room.
Awesome. Celebrate this one. Congratulations.
I don't know that you could have summed it up any better than that.
If there was no doubt that Jackson Maynard was the star of the show tonight, he solidified it right there.
There are the numbers in tonight's game. As we take a quick look at the stats tonight, as Hilliard Davidson churns out over 400 yards of total offense tonight to 273 for the Jaguars of Hilliard Bradley. And again, the final score ends up being 45-13 tonight in favor of Hilliard Davidson. The Wildcats are now 5-2 on the season, and Hilliard Bradley falls to 2-5 on the campaign as the Davidson Wildcats come away with the victory tonight, 45-13. That is a wrap for this edition of Toyota's Friday Night Rivals, presented by Columbus Day Community College. We're back with you next Friday night at 7 o'clock when Olentangy travels to Hilliard Derby. On behalf of Ryan Baker, great job, Baker, by Ryan Baker, by filling in tonight for the Hall of Famer Jeff Logan. For Kellyanne Stitz, our statistician Jason Van Hoos, our producer Dean Marini, I'm Marty Bannister, and for our entire CW Columbus crew, great job by everybody tonight. Once again, the final score, Hilliard Davidson 45, Hilliard Bradley 13. So long, everyone, from Davidson High School.
This broadcast of Toyota's Friday Night Rivals, presented by Columbus State Community College, is sponsored by these businesses.